I'm not even messing when I tell you I have no idea how to work this bloody camera. I don't even know if I'm in focus or not. I don't know. Hi everyone! So today I'm going to be doing a really requested video. Ever since I did my last video, not my last video, the video before that, I've had so many questions. So I firstly just want to say thank you so much for the comments I got on that video. Like, oh my god, I was crying for so long. Like, I really didn't expect it, and I was just so taken aback. Like, the video got like 50 favourites on Twitter. I was like, oh my god, I feel famous. So yeah, I just want to thank you all. It was so not expected, and that just makes it so much better. So yes, I am very aware that in the video I wasn't actually that specific about what had been going on and what was happening, so I'm going to answer some of the questions in this video. So I also got a lot of questions regarding self-harm, and I feel like self-harm is such a big topic that I can't really do it in this video. I will do a separate video regarding self-harm. Like always, I'm not going to say names and that because obviously these subjects are quite touchy, and I feel like saying people's names would be a bit inappropriate. So yeah, if you have any questions regarding self-harm, you can comment them down below or DM me, you know, any kind of questions. Okay, so the first question I got is, what's actually wrong? And I think this is a really good question to start with because I realised that in that video I didn't really say what was actually going on. Okay, so I was struggling with my mental health. I was in a really dark place. It kind of got to the point where I wasn't safe to be at home anymore, and some kind of intervention needed to take place. So I went into a mental hospital. I sound so psycho. I'm not psycho, but it makes it easier if I make a little light of it. I mean, it was a really difficult time. I was struggling with things like depression, anxiety, self-harm, all of that kind of lovely stuff. Being 17 in mental health services, they are very reluctant to diagnose you with things because in terms of your mental health, you are still quite young, and so there are specific diagnoses, if that's a word, I don't know, that they won't diagnose you with until you're 18. So I feel like I'm not going to go into like diagnoses, etc., because they're not concrete yet. So the next question I got is, what is your school situation? Okay, so I mentioned in my last video that I was taken out of school. When was I taken out of school? It was either like late September or early October. It was quite a while ago, like it's like 6 months ago now. I started year 13 like I would normally. I was even doing my UCAS and all that. So this was really kind of like unexpected. Didn't expect to be admitted into a psychiatric ward really. So I remember distinctly I went to a house party like late September, and I came home really early from that. And when I came home, I said to my mum and dad that I don't feel very well. Told them before about stuff because we were going on holiday, and I realised that I wouldn't be able to hide certain things anymore because, you know, unless I want to wear like jumpers and trousers in like 35 degrees, you know, that kind of thing. Anyways, so I'd mentioned it to them before, and they had kind of not taken me to the doctors yet because we were going to go on holiday, see how my mood improves, etc. Then when we went back to school, I'd kind of started pretending again that everything was okay. And the problem was, when I came back from this house party, I was obviously a bit drunk, and it kind of all spilled out. That was on the Friday, and then on the Monday I went to my GP with my mum, and like you always do, if you say you have a low mood and you know you're not feeling great, they put you on antidepressants. The thing with antidepressants is they don't work straight away. Like, I think there's a bit of a misconception that you will take them and then everything's going to be sunshine and rainbows. That don't happen. They can sometimes take like 4 to 6 weeks to even set in, and at the very start they can, it sounds really stupid because it's such a contrast, but they can even increase your anxiety, increase suicidal thoughts, all that kind of jazz. My mum took me out of school for that week to keep an eye on me, see how things were going. I was off school for a week, and then I went back into school the following Monday. So I went into school and I told everyone that I'd had the flu. However, taking a week off sixth form is extremely difficult because although I needed it, it increased my anxiety so much more because I had to catch up on so much work. Sorry, this is really long-winded. I went into school the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Then I woke up on the Friday and I was like, shit, I feel horrendous. So I went into my mum's room and said I'm not going to school, and we kind of ended up having this huge argument because she was saying you can't take any more time off school. Ended quite badly. They ended up calling like an ambulance and that, going to A&E, the first of many trips, and I just never went back to school. My mum had to tell them why I was off because, you know, you don't go off school for 4 weeks for flu, do you? No. I kind of didn't anticipate it to get to where it was, and I was supposed to go into school after the October half term. The Saturday before the October half term I ended up being admitted. How did you know something was wrong, and did something trigger it? Okay, so how I knew something was wrong was because I was just not feeling myself anymore. I didn't want to go out anymore. Had no motivation. I had no motivation. I was crying all the time. I was not sleeping well. I was either sleeping 18 hours a day or 2, you know, it was no in between. I wasn't eating, I wasn't looking after myself. Loads of my hair fell out. Like, I'm not even joking, I'll insert a picture of one of my bald patches. It was horrendous, and that really lowered my self-esteem a lot more too. I lost quite a lot of weight before I went into hospital. Nothing really triggered it. Like, there's certain things that have happened that I'm not going to go into because they're quite personal. It's been kind of stress and self-destruction for a really long time. In year 12 I kind of put this, I noticed a change in myself, and a lot of other people did too, like a lot of teachers and that. I feel like I kind of put it down to exams and was like, it's just because of exams that I'm feeling this way, that's the reason why I'm stressed, etc, etc. And I distinctly remember when my exams had finished, it was like the 3rd night, and I just broke down and I just thought, why don't I feel any better? And that's when I realised that something was wrong. Next question, did a stigma come along when you told people about it? Luckily, from my end, no. Obviously I don't know what people are saying behind my back. I'm hoping that they're not saying anything bad because I was poorly and I needed to go into hospital, and that's that. It's nothing more than that. It's just, if you had a broken leg, you go into hospital and you get it fixed. I had a broken brain. No, I don't really have a broken brain, but you know, that kind of thing. Obviously there is such a stigma about mental health because people just think you're crazy, and having a mental illness doesn't make you crazy, it just makes you poorly like anyone else with a physical illness. So how are you coping now, and how is it like to go through it at your age? So the way I'm coping now is I'm currently at a day patient thing, which I hate, I'm not gonna lie. It is obviously adult services, and I've only just turned 18, so it's not really that age appropriate for me. And how is it going through at your age? I would say, because when I went into hospital I was only 17, so technically I shouldn't have even been on an adult ward. That was really, really difficult, I'm not gonna lie. Obviously they have adolescent wards, but where I live they don't, and I was an emergency patient and I kind of just had to go. So there were obviously pros and cons of being 17 on an adult ward. Cons were that when I first went into hospital, it was like protocol that you have to be put on what is called a level 3, which means you are on one-on-one with a person. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, you are watched. So if I was sat here now, there'd be someone sat in the door watching me. So that was so difficult because when I first went in on my first night, I got put in this room, I got put in this bloody place which I didn't know, mum and dad weren't there. I was like crying, I didn't have any pyjamas, I didn't have any clothes, I had to wear like a hospital clothes, I didn't have a charger for my phone was on like 8%, so it was just like super scary. And so I had all of that, and then I had someone watching me. So yeah, they watch you when you're in the shower, in the toilet, blah de blah blah blah. I was on level 3 for a really long time. I was on it for like a month, day and night, and then 6 weeks at night. However, I got to know all of the staff, and the staff were amazing. They might be watching this now, which is really awkward, but I literally, like, they were so lovely to me. Where I was, there was like 20 women on the ward and maybe like 4 staff at one time, like 2 of them being nurses who would spend all day in like the office. However, being 17, I was always the 17-year-old on the ward, so I was like the baby, and they were just lovely to me. A lot of them had children my age or sisters my age. and so would kind of like look after me. Also the patients, I met such amazing people. But yeah, being 17 is really difficult. Obviously I was away from home for like 3.5 months. I never really had proper leave until the end. I had leave over Christmas and then that didn't end well, so I had to go back in after Christmas. I was never supposed to go in for that length of time either. I was only supposed to be in there for like a week and a half, 2 weeks. So the last question is, what's the best piece of advice you received about mental health? And that would be to communicate. It sounds so simple, but it's literally one of the hardest things in the world. I feel like once I've started talking to people, that's the only time things have got better. Talk to friends, parents if you can, obviously, because obviously some people can't talk to their parents. Teachers, anyone, if you have like pastoral care at your school, or you can talk to me. Like, I'm not even joking, DM me on Instagram. I understand, I would never judge. So yeah, you can totally do that. You got a friend in me. So this is going to be a really long video. I'm so sorry, but I kind of wanted to clear everything up. So thank you again for the feedback I got on my last video. It was insane. I was so pleased. So pleased. And if you want to see any more videos, make sure to give this video a thumbs up. And I'll see you on my next video. Adios.